Hey ladies and gentlemen, Steven here from Redolessence. Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate your time and your viewership. It means a lot. And in today's episode, we're going to be taking a closer look at a fragrance called 293 Sparkle by the company Malul. I'm excited to give you my thoughts on the fragrance, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin my fragrance review of 293 Sparkle by Malul, I do want to mention that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, if you like fragrance reviews here on YouTube, but also top 10 lists, giveaways, unboxings, special guests, interviews, and more, please do consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. All you have to do is click on that red button in the corner, and while you're at it, make sure to enable notifications by clicking on the bell icon. So this one is actually marketed for women, and I'm kind of glad to have this because as of late, all my wife has been wearing is this other fragrance, and I'm kind of getting a little tired of it. And so I'm happy to see that she is able to pick and choose and accessorize a little bit more wisely now, despite the fact that she already has like 50 fragrances in her collection. But this is a fragrance that is part of the Couture collection. And so I have Santorini, Blue, Spice, Black Tie, so on and so forth. I've done videos on most of those, and there are some that I really enjoy from that collection. Santorini, of course, reminds me of being on a tropical getaway. I've never been to the island of Santorini, or if I have, it's been a very long time ago, as I used to live in Greece. And then here we have one that's called Sparkle. So this one actually has the notes conveniently printed on the back, and so it has sparkling mandarin, pink pepper, water lily, Moroccan orange flower, jasmine, and damask rose. And then in the base, you have cedarwood and patchouli. So this one is going to be a nice balance of citrus, clean floral ingredients, a little bit of rose, maybe adding a sensual touch. And then in the base, you have that cedar and patchouli combination. And of course, my job here is to tell you what I get from the smell, how strong I find those ingredients to be in comparison to one another. Are there any other fragrances on the market that I could see myself comparing this one to? And I also want to mention that if you are interested in picking up this fragrance or sampling any fragrance from the collection, I do have my own coupon code. I'm going to be leaving it down below. If you utilize it, you can guarantee that you're going to get the best price on products from their website. Anyways, I'm excited to give you my thoughts on the smell. Let's start things off with the presentation. So of course, when you read the note breakdown, you are going to notice that there's quite a bit of citrus in here, namely mandarin. And as soon as you spray it on, you do get that sparkling, effervescent feel in the opening, kind of giving credence or light to the name, Sparkle. So this one does open up in this very bright, sparkling, and fresh way. And you have the mandarin, but it very quickly evolves into a floral perfume. Floral is the name of the game when it comes to Sparkle, and you are going to get a combination of the water lily, the jasmine, the rose, and I feel like it's a nice balance of these ingredients. There is a cleanly component about it, which I think is coming from the water lily or the jasmine, but you can also pick up on the sensuality of the rose. Now, of course, there are some rose-based fragrances on the market, which I think overdo the rose somewhat. There are some where it's the rose ingredient is not used as strongly, and it's not used in the center stage, so to speak. Like there's Armani C. I feel like that's a really nice combination of fruits and florals with the black currant, if I'm remembering correctly, or there's like a blackberry note in there. And then here you have something similar going on in the sense that you have the mandarin in the opening, but then you have this very smooth and calm rose in the heart of the perfume, and not one that really takes center stage in the composition, but rather shares the spotlight quite generously with its other, floral sisters, if you will. And so you are going to get a lot of the rose in the heart. You are going to get a nice touch of jasmine in here too, really making the fragrance rather clean and serene. Nothing about this fragrance is indolic, so it doesn't give off an animalic component to my nose. And as it starts to dry down, I'm having a hard time picking up on the cedarwood, but I am getting that patchouli. And it's a very smooth and clean sort of a patchouli. It's not too earthy or soily or anything like that. If anything, it just adds to the long lastingness of the perfume, which ultimately is what we want, right? Especially if we're dealing with a citrus floral fragrance, we don't want something that's going to last 3 or 4 hours. We're kind of hoping to extend that longevity into the 7th, 8th, 9th hour of application if possible. And I feel like this fragrance does definitely do that. There have been days when I've gotten 7 hours of longevity from it. And yes, I have worn it myself. And of course, my wife wears this one a lot recently as well. She actually wore it to work today and yesterday. As soon as she came home yesterday, I was still able to smell it on her. And I dropped off my daughter at school this morning. Pretty funny story. My wife sprayed it on in the living room. I went to drop my daughter off at school, came back home 25 minutes later, and I was able to smell it in the hallway, which is not even where she applied it. And so just that sillage and that scent trail from this fragrance really does linger. And I think that the impressions that I've received from the past few days of my wife wearing it is really a testament as to how well it performs. But ultimately, that's what you're going to get from this fragrance. You're going to get this clean, water lily, rose and jasmine combination, just a little bit of citrus in the opening, nothing overdone. And then in the base, I'm having a hard time picking up on the cedarwood, but I do get a nice amount of patchouli, but nothing that is overly soily or earthy or anything like that, which, you know, sometimes patchouli has the tendency of going in that direction. I feel like this one does give off an elegant touch, but I feel like it can also be worn casually, quite comfortably. I think this one is appropriate for any sort of an age range. So if you're a little bit older and you have a more, diversified collection, I think you might really enjoy this one. If you're young, maybe in high school, early college, and you're just looking for something casual that you can wear to school, or if you're working to work on a day-to-day basis, I feel like this one would fit that bill perfectly as well. And so pretty versatile fragrance from the company Michael Malul, and this one, like I said, is more on the floral side with a little bit of patchouli in the base, and I personally enjoy smelling this one on my wife. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, it's a fairly unique fragrance, especially since it contains that water lily in there, and it kind of adds its own quirkiness to the composition. However, you are still going to get the jasmine and the rose, and that seems to come through, thus giving it that aura of familiarity, as jasmine is used in so many perfumes, rose is used in so many perfumes, but the overall smell is a compliment-worthy type of a scent, and it's one that I personally enjoy smelling on my wife. I think it smells very youthful, very feminine, and there's a sensual component about it as well that I really enjoy. In terms of the longevity, we're talking about 7 to 8 hours. The sillage on this one is really good. If you think about the story that I just shared earlier on in the review. In terms of the projection, it projects way beyond an arm's length for like the first 2 hours of application, and it will linger in the room. So just be cautious when you apply this one. And I would say it starts to sit a little bit closer to the skin at that like 5.5 to 6 hour mark. Versatility on this one is really good. I think this one could work well in all seasons and all occasions. I think maybe perhaps somebody would not want to wear this one in the winter time. They might want to wear something that's a bit heavier on the patchouli, or maybe something that's a bit more gourmand or a bit more fruity or something like that. But personally speaking, I enjoy smelling this one, and I could see myself wearing this one all year round. Of course, you have to be comfortable with floral perfumes to really pull this one off. But if you're a lady watching this channel and that's what you like to wear typically, I think you can really pull this one off in a wide variety of seasons and occasions. I think there's a youthful, sensual vibe about it. And in terms of the presentation, I do like the different colors on the box and the bottle, the foam, the cap, just it looks very nice. So my final verdict on 293 Sparkle by Michael Malul is, if you're in the market for a floral fragrance, something that combines water lily, jasmine, rose with a little bit of patchouli in the base, I think you'll be really impressed by this fragrance, especially if you can utilize a coupon code when you're getting it. I think it comes across smelling very youthful, very chic at the same time. There's that element of sensuality because of the rose. My wife is enjoying it a lot lately, and I'm loving smelling it on her as well. So There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, mostly ladies I think this time around though. That was my review of Sparkle by Michael Malul, part of the Couture line. If you own or have tried this fragrance, please let me know what you think, leave a comment down below. Also, if you are new to this channel and you took something of value from this review, I would really appreciate it if you would consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. Again, all you have to do is click on that red button in the corner, and while you're at it, please be sure to enable notifications by clicking on the bell. Thanks again for watching. Love you all. We'll see you soon.